Did Phil Hellmuth angleshoot at the World Series of Poker main event? How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to my poker channel. My name is Andreas, and in this video I'm going to have a look at the hand that happened between Phil Hellmuth and James Campbell, where out of line things went down. But judge yourself.
Cut off or the
No, I would
hijack,
definitely open
sorry.
suited kings there. Especially, you know, he hasn't gotten 3-bet, and Hellmuth has made it clear he folded ace-jack to a 3-bet. Please don't call. Shove your stack in.
The hand starts here with Kazmin opening it up with a king-deuce of diamonds from the hijack and a pretty healthy stack. Hellmuth goes ahead and calls with the pocket sevens, and he goes on to Campbell, as you can see here, with 29,600 chips. He has about 20 big blinds, or even a little bit less, and he could go ahead and jam all in here versus a loose open raise range from Kazmin and a loose flag calling range from Hellmuth. But he goes ahead and makes the call, and they go three-way to the flop.
And Campbell
Yeah.
fold so much.
Exactly. I think against the ranges he's up against, and especially, as you said, Sean, with Hellmuth having so many hands that he's going to call and fold to a 3-bet, I think a shove is so profitable. You have a pretty decent hand if called, still has a lot of possibility.
Well, 10-4 tray with a couple of diamonds.
This worked out way better for him, because he's definitely going to double through Kuzmin now. You're going to see a C-bet here. Phil's going to call, and you're going to see a shove and probably call, and Phil's going to fold, and he's so mad.
Oh, not just the C-bet,
Oh,
but the bet
amazing.
and the fold. Min raise, 3-6.
All in. All in. This motherfucking son. Fuck got away with murder all day against me. What the fuck does this?
Has Kuzmin called yet?
No, Kuzmin's done nothing. This is so wrong by Phil. This is where Phil deserves penalties. Like, you cannot talk in a multi-way pot, give away your weakness with the opponent still to act. It's so wrong that he gets away with stuff like this. I mean, if I'm doing a king high flush draw, I know that Phil is not continuing if I call. That totally affects this action and totally hurts his opponent's equity. I think Phil realized that he might have been out of line. He's gotten really silent, and I think he just realized that that was really bad what he did.
Yeah, probably reflex more than anything there, but Campbell and Kuzmin didn't say a word. And now Kuzmin has made the call. And Hellmuth out of the way after mucking the sevens. Kuzmin realizing he is in horrific shape.
The shoulders. Good luck, man.
Good luck, Camby.
Yeah.
I need a king.
Well, James Campbell, a professional firefighter, the 35-year-old from Hudson, Massachusetts. $750,000 in career tournament earnings. Gets slapped in the face by a black deuce on the turn. He does have a wheel draw to go with the nut flush draw. 16 outs just once.
What? One more juice.
In the river, the 6 of spades. In a very disappointing situation for James Campbell. Hashtag main event.
That's just such a brutal way to go out. I think Phil totally influenced the action there, and I think that Kuzmin.
After Kazmin continuation bets for 3,000 and Phil Hellmuth min raises to 6,000, he comes back to Campbell and he moves all in immediately for his rest of his stack. Now, this is definitely something you want to avoid. If you had the queen 10 of clubs, jack 10 of clubs, and flag called from the small blind before the flop, and then ended up on this 10-4-3 diamond board, would you also go all in immediately with your top pair? Maybe not. If people play for you for hours, then you definitely want to avoid these timing tells and just make sure that you stay balanced. However, the technical aspect of this hand is not the most interesting. After Campbell moves all in, Phil Hellmuth suddenly starts swearing about the situation, about Campbell again moving all in against him, and that is completely not okay in this situation. He's definitely influencing, as Sean Deep commented afterwards here, the course of the action between Kazmin and Campbell, because now Kazmin knows that he's probably closing the action by, you know, being able to make the call with the king deuce of diamonds, the flush draw here, knowing that Phil Hellmuth, if he calls the all-in, will probably go ahead and fold. The discussion moves over to Twitter, where Justin Bonomo tries to convince the tournament directors of the WSOP to reconsider giving Phil Hellmuth a penalty for his inappropriate behaviors at the table. And I think that's pretty fair when you also go through comments from other people who have no business in, you know, trying to harm Phil Hellmuth's repetition. They also talk about double standards, like Tony over here. There's a double standard that I've seen again and again for star players, that they can get away with things like this, and that the normal recreational player couldn't, you know, get passes and would receive a penalty for acting in the same fashion. What I also want to address with this video is the results orientedness of people in the poker community. Whether Campbell busts here or not shouldn't really have any effect on this being discussed on Twitter later on. If he moves on to win the main event, it would have been obviously very funny, but at the same time, you know, results really don't matter. Phil Hellmuth really, you know, you could call it an angle shoot for sure, because he has incentives for Campbell to bust at this moment, because then he would have a less annoying stack on his left. A short stack can, you know, have a very bad outcome on your future poker tournament. So he has a lot of incentives to, you know, give away the weakness of his hand and have the other player call Campbell out of this tournament. Now in this situation, you can see that Kazmin had only 90%, so Campbell can't be result certain, and they really wanted him to call with this holding, you know, when there's no ICM in play. Unless there's a huge risk premium where you need much more equity and you'd rather have your opponent fold, you really want someone to call with 90% of equity for about 23k more in chips. That was about an equivalent of 30 to 33% of equity in this instance. So don't be that result certain the guy. It's sure it's gonna be brutal if you bust out of the main event, but you just can't do that. You have to blame someone for their behavior regardless of the outcome. So what do you guys think about this situation? Do you agree that Campbell got angle shot here by Phil Hellmuth and that he should be mad at him regardless of the outcome? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to this channel for more content coming up here in the future. This has been Andreas. Over and out. See you for the next one.